Lil Baby just hopped on my beat and it sounds crazy.
How about in the latest clothes, can't get exposed. And I'm still slanging both. Out of my stainless song, all my hoes. Pour my soda up, roll another up, you know the vibe. Call it.
So in today's video, I'm going to tell you exactly how I got that song and a few lessons that I learned along the way of getting that record with him. So before I was able to get beats to Lil Baby, it all started with one of Baby's artists, Rylo Rodriguez. I had 4 songs on Rylo's last album, Ben 1, including one of the biggest ones on there, Equal Dirt, which went stupid viral on TikTok.
You my bitch, and we be fucking around every time. Bitch, who this fuck?
And I actually got all 4 of those songs on Rylo's album in a completely different way. The first one, Equal Dirt, I got from someone using one of my vocal kits, flipping it into a loop, and then sending it to the right producer, and it got used on the album. The second one, someone used my loop in a YouTube type beat, and Rylo found this random G Herbo type beat using my sample, rapped on it, and put it on his album. And then my next one of Rylo's main producers bought my loop kit, or got my loop kit somehow, and ended up using one of the samples in there for the last track on the album, Exhausted. And then for free game, I got that a more traditional industry kind of way where I sent directly to a producer who works directly with Rylo, Kai Going Crazy. And seeing one body of work, one album that I got on 4 completely different ways, it's not like I knew this artist and had been working with them for years, or was super locked in with one producer and got 4 songs with that producer with Rylo. Having them all come from different places really just taught me that lesson that putting my stuff everywhere online is the best way to get major placements and to get the right people to notice your stuff. Because if you just have everything on your hard drive, or you limit yourself to only sending it out to people or only posting it in loop kits, you're potentially hurting your chances for something that could be used, but it's just not in the right place for the right person to find it at the right time. And if you just put all of your stuff everywhere you can online consistently for years, eventually those little lottery tickets that you buy every time you post something will pay off. Anyways, before the album dropped, I actually got hit up by one of Rylo's engineers, Matt, and he actually called me multiple times to make sure that the samples that were in these songs were not real samples and that they were original. I kept confirming it and I kept telling him that these were indeed my samples. I was making everything from scratch. My main kind of sound is making stuff that sounds like real old 60s, 70s records, but I make everything original without using any samples from back then, so it's easy to clear. And I think that me doing this just really helps set me apart from other producers who are just doing more or less the same thing, using the same sounds. I was hiring vocalists, session musicians to really bring my ideas and my music to life. And actually, if I flash forward from when I got those songs with Rylo, I ended up actually getting Lil Baby on another beat using one of my soul samples with my boy Kai Going Crazy. And although I've never heard a snippet and I doubt that he ever finished the song, I vividly remember it being 4 in the morning and getting a call from Kai. And I don't know about you guys, but I have my phone on Do Not Disturb. So when a call goes through, it means that someone has called me multiple times or something is important. So I answered the phone and I was, groggy. I was like, man, what the fuck is going on? Kai called me and he was like, yo, we got one with Baby. They want to know if it's a sample or not. And I was like, I don't ever really sample my stuff, so I bet not, but sure, play me the beat or send me the loop, whatever. He showed me the beat. I was like, there's no samples. And he went back and told Baby and the engineer, but they still didn't believe him. So I remember having to go on my computer at like 4 in the morning and show them the stems of the project file to prove that these were not actual samples. And I really think the reason I was able to get my foot in the door with these people was because my loops were standing out from everything else that they were being sent all the time. By the way, before we get into the rest of the story, if you like that old vintage sampled sound, but you don't have to worry about copyright claims or legal troubles if you end up getting placements with them in the future, you've got to check out my new Vintage Essentials kit. Like I said earlier, I hired Grammy nominated vocalists, session musicians, and spent over a year working on this kit to make it insane. It's got so many live instrument phrases, vocals, drums, loops, samples, all this kind of stuff that can make your music stand out from other people's. And it's going to be the first link in the description down below if you want to check that out. My bad for throwing in that little promo, but I worked on this for over a year, like I said, and I put so much effort into it. And if you like that sampled sound, I promise you're gonna love it. Anyways, back into the video. From there, I had talked to Matt a few times. I asked him if I could send beats. I wasn't really getting many replies in the Instagram DMs, so nothing really happened. But flash forward some more months, I got another song with Rylo, which is still not released. Praying that that one releases. And Matt hit me on Instagram for my phone number. So when he asked me for my phone number, I was like, okay, there's got to be something going on. So I gave him my phone number and we ended up getting on the phone while I was at the airport. And he called me again, just like he had done with the past Rylo songs, to make sure that the melody that I had done on the song was not a sample. And I confirmed that there was no samples. And on the phone, we got to talking. I was kind of telling him about my process and, how I make this stuff that sounds like samples. And he was kind of like, bet, send me some loops, send me some beats for Rylo and Baby. So at that point, the door was open. I was super hyped. hype. I was like, bet I can send beats to Rilo, Lil Baby, and I can send him loops too. We're gonna get some work in. And this kind of taught me a lesson that you hear people talking about all the time, but it's really true. If you want to work with someone who's on a huge level like Lil Baby, who's pretty unreachable, one of the best ways you can do it is by building and working with people who are around them or under them, and kind of build your reputation up in their circle of people, provide them value, and then eventually you can kind of climb your way up into being able to work with the big dogs. If you try to go from having 0 connects to getting Lil Baby's phone number to send him beats, you are never gonna have success. So anyways, once I got the green light from him and I got his number, I started texting him beats all the time, every single week. And in the first few weeks, every now and then he would hit me back saying, oh, I like this, or send me some stuff like this. So I kept sending him packs and nothing happened, or so I thought. If you don't already know, I send out beat collabs from my free Discord server every single week to all my different placement opportunities. So essentially, I send them my melodies, they send me back full beats with the drums on my melodies, and I send the best ones out for placements with big artists. So every week, me and my Discord server were grinding, filling up these packs, and I kept sending them out just mindlessly, throwing them out there, and the responses just kind of slowed down. I wasn't really getting replies anymore. I wasn't getting any feedback, not even red notifications. I had no idea if anyone was even seeing them. And honestly, I really just thought about quitting sending. Not even on some depressing shit like I was, not confident in my work or anything like that. I was just like, at this point, I'm probably just annoying these dudes. Like, I don't want to be misleading these people in my Discord, telling them that I'm sending beats to this big artist and, they're not checking anything, because I don't want to get people's hopes up, and I don't want to get my own hopes up as well. But even though I had felt this way for a while, I kept sending beats. But then one morning, I woke up to a text from my boy Orsix. Call me when you wake up.
It was around 11 a.m. I was just scrolling on Twitter. Just a random Lil Baby fan page posted like a snippet. I was just like listening to it, and I didn't realize anything. But I heard that little siren thing, that you use the siren in a lot of your loops. When I was just like paying more attention to it, I don't know, I recognized something. Then just like the beat just randomly popped in my head, like the title and everything. And I was like, bro, what the fuck? Like, that's our shit. Like, it was just so random. It was so crazy.
How did it feel whenever you saw it on your Twitter timeline, like pop up?
That was so crazy. Like, I felt blessed. I felt proud, excited, all that stuff at the same time. I was like, I didn't know how to act. Kind of like the same feeling as the Chris Brown one.
Yeah, it's crazy. And for anyone who didn't already watch, me and him got a placement with Chris Brown almost the same exact way, finding it just on Twitter, scrolling through snippets. So did you text me right after you saw it?
Yeah. First thing I did was screen record the whole thing and send it to you. I just couldn't wait for you to wake the fuck up. Yeah, and I just told you, like, bro, what the fuck? Just call me whenever you wake up.
Did you think the beat was special when you made it?
To be honest, I wouldn't say that it was like really that special, but I just felt like it has much potential to be a big hit. I just felt like something catchy was in there, got the perfect energy, perfect like catchiness, stuff like that to be a hit. So I was always waiting for it to get placed somehow.
Yeah, I felt the same way. Like, yeah, it's nothing crazy, but I felt like there was just like this like 10% difference from like a normal generic trap beat. Before we actually found out about this song, and it had been a while since like we got the word that like something that we've been working on had gotten placed, but you kept like sending beats nonstop every week. Like, what were you thinking like before we got that placement?
Just in general, producers, like, it's so easy for us to just lose motivation. It's pretty easy to just like lose sight of the goal. Everybody says that consistency is key. You don't really feel it until it happens to you too. So if you keep up the consistency, it's just gonna come. Like, I believe in manifestation. The place where I'm at right now with this Baby placement and Chris Brown song, stuff like that, like, I was dreaming about it 3-4 years ago, and that's what I wanted to achieve, and I was just keep manifesting it. Like, manifestation is the part that you believe, and the other part is working for it. And 3-4 years later, I'm just here.
So as soon as I saw that text from Orsix, immediately I clicked the video that he attached above it. And at this point, when you wake up in the morning and your eyes are just like glued shut, you can barely see, everything's blurry. And my girl was laying in bed beside me, and it was super early, so I didn't want to wake her up. So I turned the volume down all the way to volume 1, and I put it up to my ear, and immediately I was like, what the fuck? This is Lil Baby on our shit? This is dope. Are we sure this is our shit? And then I really listened, and I was like, oh my god, this is that one. And immediately I called Orsix, rolled right out of bed with my fucking shirt off, because I was just so hyped. I didn't have time to like get ready before I FaceTimed him. And he just told me he found it scrolling on Twitter, and I was like, damn, this is fucking crazy. Shout out to Matt, Baby's engineer, for using that beat, playing it for him, and ending up getting that placed. Super grateful for that. So another quick tip for you guys: send beats to engineers of the artist. It is a great way pay to get a song with the artist. Anyways, I think it's crazy that even though I was able to open the door using soul samples, if you heard the snippet in the beginning of this video, the beat that I got Lil Baby on was a hard, more generic sounding trap. And it's kind of supported this idea that I've had in my head that a lot of times to get in the door, to get people to notice you, you need to stand out, you need to do something that's different to just get noticed in the first place. And then once you actually get noticed, your foot is in the door, you can kind of transition into doing more typical stuff for that person that may have not catch their attention if you were just another no-name sending them stuff. But by far, overall, the biggest lesson I learned in this whole process of getting this snippet with Lil Baby is to stay consistent. I preach this to everyone all the time, and it is boring advice, but it is so true. If I would have just listened to how I felt and stopped sending beats out to Matt, I would have never gotten this placement. I actually remember the day before I found out about this placement, I sent him another pack, and I was just thinking to myself, like, there's no point. I was like, this dude's probably sick of me sending stuff. And I was just like, if he's already sick of me sending stuff, there's nothing I can lose by sending him another pack. So I'm just gonna keep on going. So to everyone out there who's sending people their stuff and getting no replies, no feedback, you have no idea if they're checking it out, if you're wasting your time, just keep sending. If you're already making the music anyways, you have nothing to lose by spending that extra 5 minutes emailing it, texting it out to those people. Because even if it's just a 1% chance, if you're doing it all the time, eventually something's got to pay off. And normally I wouldn't make a video on an unreleased song. I'm praying that this one drops, but I really just think that the story and lessons I learned along the process of actually getting Lil Baby on my beat might be super valuable to people out there who are, you know, working every day. You're posting your social media stuff, you're sending your stuff out, you're trying to network with people, you're not getting responses. Just keep going, keep building, keep growing, keep improving yourself, and keep shooting your shots, because eventually if you throw enough shit at the wall, something is gonna stick. That being said, if you guys want a breakdown of this beat where we actually go in and break down how we made this beat, let's hope Lil Baby drops this record. And one last thing before I go, if you like soul samples, you like making sample chop type beats, click the first link in the description to check out the Vintage Essentials kit. And you know what? Fuck it. Use the code LilBaby and it'll give you 30% off the kit. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.